Yeah, did that for our other meeting this morning.
You let me know when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Good afternoon. My name is Mario Eckert. I am the chairman of the Newberry Township Board of Supervisors, and I have with me today Dave Kirkpatrick, who's also a fellow supervisor as well as the liaison for the fire department and fire services here in Newberry Township. So we're here today to announce that we received the RFPs for interim EMS services for the term of October 1st to July 1st of 2022. And also an EMS proposal for July 1st, 2022 to continue for 3 years. After reviewing the proposals, we feel that we found a provider that will be able to transition seamlessly into a service for the residents of Newberry Township. The details of this coverage will be outlined on September 28th at our regular scheduled monthly meeting, where we'll formally vote on the service provider and the terms of the agreement. So at this time, I'd like to turn this over to Dave Kirkpatrick, and he can kind of comment regarding the EMS services as a whole. So Dave?
Okay. I'd like to clarify some inaccurate information that's been provided to the residents by media and internet resources. The Newberry Township Fire and EMS service is a nonprofit business and is not owned or operated by Newberry Township. Newberry Township has provided Newberry Township Fire and EMS approximately $150,000 each year, and was planning on continuing that funding until the request for proposal would take effect in July of 2022. During the recent request proposal stage, it was relayed to the township supervisors that the members of Newberry Township Fire and EMS Company were diligently working to submit a request for proposal to the township to continue providing service to the residents. Since then, a decision has been made by the Newberry Township Fire and EMS Board of Directors on September 1st of 2021 to end EMS service. Newberry Township's manager and the Board of Supervisors have worked tirelessly to secure another EMS provider that had the ability to provide the service that's needed to the residents. We are also seeking specific answers as it relates to the membership dues that some residents have paid to the Newberry Township Fire and EMS services. I strongly urge those residents to contact the Newberry Township Fire Department to find out where their membership status stands, as the status for the membership services is good till February of 2022. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here today, and does anybody have any questions as it relates to this news conference, press conference?
Should I speak in the microphone?
Yes, please.
So, since I'm a little newer to what transpired, can you just kind of give us a development of what happened that led up to the fact that, Newberry Township was kind of on the verge of not having EMS services?
I can answer that. So we had a discussion with the chief, Newberry Township Fire Department chief, notifying him that the board were seeking RFPs for a contract for the next year. That the chief at that time seemed amiable to the fact that, we were going to offer them an opportunity to bid. They did not convey to us any other reason that they wouldn't bid. However, when they made their announcement, they basically pulled out of any type of proposal. And so we had to scramble to make sure we had services for everyone here in the township.
Right, because we did get a press release that EMS was going to be discontinuing services in Newberry Township. I think there was something that, and people were worried that they were going to lose EMS services. Obviously, that had to be something that that obviously was alarming, to a lot of residents. But, how quickly did you guys manage to get this together, find a new provider, and kind of what went into that?
Well, the fact that we were notified and given a 30-day notice that they were going to cease operation, it alarmed the entire board, and obviously we had to make sure that we had an EMS service in place, or are going to have an EMS service in place at the time that they discontinue service. So yes, we worked very hard, and I'd like to also commend our township manager for reaching out and handling the RFPs. But yes, we worked in haste to try to get this done to make sure that the residents had service here in this township.
For people who don't know what RFP
I was
is.
going to say, an RFP is a request for proposal. We had put out a request for proposals from other ambulance services along with Newberry Township Fire Department to provide ambulance service to the township. and it would have been over a 3-year contract.
So why was the EMS service, why'd they pull out? Why was it gonna stop? I think I'm just a little,
We have no idea. We are just as surprised as the residents. We received a phone call during the Hurricane Ida, in the middle of Hurricane Ida at like 9 o'clock at night, saying we're out of business September the 30th.
so you were blindsided by this news?
Absolutely.
Completely.
So when that, obviously, when you're blindsided by news like that, I've seen similar situations where, I was speaking with him before, where an ALS service and BLS service just pulled out of the county, and, all of a sudden it was like, we have to create this tax or get all these municipalities on board to be able to make this work. So now that you guys have a request for proposal, how fluid do you think it will be being able to transition and kind of get an operation set up in a timely fashion?
Because of the Sunshine Act, we cannot vote on it until we're in a public meeting. We're confident that by the meeting on the 28th, we will have a provider in place and ready to go on October the 1st. We're still doing some reviewing of the proposals that we got, and we're confident that if a resident calls 911 on October the 1st, they're going to get an ambulance at their door that will be responding from Newberry Township.
So September 28th, executive session, you guys will, will go in to talk, and then you'll vote on this new provider, or this request for proposal to bring a new provider into Newberry Township.
Yes, and that'll be held in a public meeting.
Yes. Yeah, we absolutely will have that in a public meeting. And once again, just to reiterate, we'll go over the proposal on the 28th, and we'll have our discussion as well as the vote on the 28th as well.
How critical is it for you guys just to be able to, manage to put this together? I mean, I'm sure this took a lot of resources, a lot of brainstorming, a lot to be able to find a new provider in that quick turnaround, because like you said, you get a call during Hurricane Ida, they're pulling out. Obviously there's a disaster happening, there's flooding happening. I mean, it's the most inopportune time to get a call like that, but just to be able to kind of, put your heads together and, start looking over bids and start looking over information and get a new provider in here. I mean, that had to be pretty, that had to be a critical,
It's been a very intense couple of weeks.
Well, and I'll say this, I received the phone call, I was the first one to receive the phone call as the chairman. I immediately notified the rest of the board members of the intent of the Newberry Township Fire Department and EMS services to discontinue servicing the township residents. This also goes beyond Newberry Township. It also includes York Haven and Goldsboro as well. So, yeah, it was mission critical to make sure that we had something in place, that we had a provider in place that was going to be able to seamlessly pick up service where Newberry Township Fire Department and EMS were unable to. I'll also say that I think staffing was a big issue for those folks. I won't speak directly as a matter of fact, but the indication that we've gotten in conversation was they've had trouble maintaining personnel as well, so this was a struggle for them as well.
Were they a volunteer company?
They are. And once
The fire
again,
departments volunteer and the EMS services are paid.
yeah, just to reiterate, it's very misleading to hear Newberry Township Fire Department, Newberry Township EMS. Anyone would associate that directly as an entity of the township. However, they are private contractors, as would any other ambulance or fire service be. The name is misleading. So we've never owned the fire department or the EMS services. They act completely on their own, and they contract through us.
So, like you said, so Newberry Township EMS, like that was just a name, it was a private company that has nothing, like, that has no ties or correlation to the township whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So, and they're going out of business, right? They said they were gonna cease services, so they're no longer going to be
That's
a
correct.
provider.
They will, just to reiterate though, that at this point, they are intent on providing fire services for the township. It was just the EMS only portion. And once again, it was substantial funding that the township has been giving them, and we had intent to continue that agreement until July of 2022. However, they made the decision that they couldn't operate, so.
And you were saying you were paying about $150,000 a year, right, for the services, and the EMS are paid services, whereas the fire department's volunteer service.
Correct.
So, like, and now, once, hopefully by September 28th, come October 1st, like you said, things will be back to normal. No one will even know what happened. And it'll just be another smooth transition for another couple of years where, hopefully you don't get any calls in the middle of a storm like that again, right?
That's what we're hoping for.
So if there are any other questions?
Are you guys happy with the bidding process and the things that you've gotten so far up to this point before you guys make a decision?
From what we've seen, we feel comfortable with the proposals that we've received regarding the services. Once again, we'll be able to elaborate more on the 28th, and at that time, we'll have a formal vote as far as taking on that service.
Since you've already contracted with them for EMS service through 2022, do you get some sort of rebate back?
We've never had a contract with the EMS services. Again, we provided them with a monthly check, and we paid for the workman's comp, and we paid for their vehicle insurance.
Once you decide on the new carrier or person or organization that's going to do this, will they be housed here at the township, or will they have to have their own facility?
We're still working those details out as part of the attorneys and stuff, but they will be located within the township, yes.
And that will be a 24/7 type of operation?
24/7, yes.
Did you guys feel that you needed to raise more funds to attract a new organization in? Are you keeping it at the same level?
We'll be keeping it at the same level.
So then, there's no need to raise any additional funds?
No, we have no anticipation of raising any taxes in regards to the service as it stands.
So people will be happy to hear that, right?
I would hope, yes.
Right? You can't please everybody. When you say you're not gonna raise taxes to, continue services that you've come to expect, I think there'll probably be some smiles on people's faces.
And that's one of the reasons that we wanted to have this press release as well. We wanted to assure the public that we are going to continue to have an ambulance service once the current ambulance provider is no longer in business, and whoever that provider is going to be will transition seamlessly into service. There shouldn't be any hiccups, and there shouldn't be any problems with response times as well.
Again, and I'll repeat it. When they call for an ambulance on October the 1st, an ambulance is going to come to their house.
My last question is, has the township ever encountered anything like this over its course of history where a service like this is just disbanded and you had to, come up with a?
No,
Not to my knowledge,
Okay.
and, I've been here 30-some years, so.